Everyone is talking about AI on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on X, on Reddit, literally everywhere. You go, everyone is talking about AI. And this is totally normal. It's super clear why it's happening like this because everyone wants to implement AI, everyone wants to implement new things, but nobody knows how to do those things. So whenever you go to LinkedIn or YouTube, you try to watch those videos and get some pieces of this information. But the problem here is that at the end of the day, 95% of this content is actually kind of useless. It's usually GPT generated, such as like, hey, here is the list of templates or Claude Code skills that you can use, or here's the prompt that will generate you tons of money. But in reality, usually, the majority of this content is not at the expert level of the content. You cannot use this prompt or this template to act in your actual workflow, in your actual processes. And the reason for that is pretty simple because almost all of this content was made and was designed not to educate you, not to provide you with such a great and deep knowledge, but mostly to get the engagement from you. So, hey, here is the prompt. Please comment below so I can share with you more content. And then you go and you comment, and then you go, actually, this content is going viral. And sometimes you're getting nice content, but sometimes you're not getting a nice lead magnet, etc., etc. So you know what I'm talking about. Even myself, I did those things. Sometimes I write posts, ask people for engagement, and share kind of mediocre level of the content, but it's not this type of the case. And the thing here is that even if you get and even if you start using one piece of that, one template, one prompt, it will not help you implement AI properly. And the reason for that is pretty simple, is that one skill that is working for someone does not mean that this skill will work for you and for your specific case. So in reality, by taking a look at all of those templates or prompts or skills or tools, it all makes no sense unless you try to implement those things on your own. Because the best way to implement AI is to start implementing AI. You go and watch some videos to learn like about the basics, but after that, uh, you're starting implementing, you're starting building and shipping the things on your own. Sometimes at the very beginning, you're really bad at those things, but after that, you're getting better and better. So only empirical process and approach will help you to actually achieve the moment when you say, I built the AI-driven GTM process or overall AI-driven the business or zero humans business, etc., etc. And while we are moving on, like just a quick question to everyone. How do you use AI right now? Because it will help me adapt my content. Of course, everything is prepared, but still, it will help me adapt the way I am talking about the content that we have specifically for you. So while you're answering, I'll move on. So, all right, it's pretty clear with that. But my goal today is not to share with you something generic that you might be using or something that you might steal. My my goal for today is to actually show you how do we run Claude Code and AI for ourselves and how we build outbound for our clients. That's basically the only goal that I have today. My main goal is not to share and not to pull you with some useless skills or some prompts that GPT has generated or Claude made those skills on those templates. No, the main goal for me is to share with you how do we actually use Claude Code and AI and some other tools and hacks and strategies. So you can probably have a really really straightforward question like, but why should I listen to you? Like, why your story about your implementation of AI makes sense to us? Why should I care? So let me probably share with you a little bit of a story. You probably know me, but for those who don't, my name is Ilya, and for the last 10 years, I've been growing different SaaS businesses. And the very first one that I became a part of, it was Lemlist. And I'm pretty sure that lots of people know Lemlist right now as one of the biggest SaaS automation platforms. But back in the days when I joined, I was the third employee there, one of the first growth marketers. We built the product together, we built the community together. And back in the days, I was a part of the team who was shaping the outbound that is working and is used today. But after that, I didn't stop on that. I also joined Expandy. It's one of the biggest LinkedIn automation software on the market. And I'm pretty sure that lots of you actually know this brand, right? So at Lemlist, I started knowing and diving deeper into cold emailing space. After that, I started diving deeper into LinkedIn space when I was a part of Expandy. And now I've created my own company a few years ago where we build and help our clients actually run successful outbound. That's why I know outbound from different perspectives, not only from the user of like I'm not it's not only that I'm sending cold emails. That's why I can teach you how we do those things, but also I was a part of vendor back in days at Lemlist and Expandy. I was also advising like around a dozen of different SaaS businesses that are working in the outbound space as well. And I also help our clients with building the outbound. So I kind of know something about outbound, right? And for those who probably know a little bit more about us, we started as the deliverability guys. Remember, a few years ago, we started as the guys who are building the infrastructure and covering the only specific problem. We are solving one specific problem. We are solving the deliverability issue. Our main goal is not the strategy, is not the copywriting, but mainly your deliverability and your inbox rate. And as a result, currently we are managing more than 18,000 mailboxes across our clients with the average of 98% of the inbox rate. That means that we literally know this technical part of the outbound really, really well on the really high level. But recently, I will tell you right now, nobody knows about that. It was in a stealth mode. But for the last 6 months ago, we started helping some of our clients. We picked some of our clients and we started running outbound fully, the full outbound system for them from A to Z. And as a result, we failed a lot. We tried a lot. That was in the stealth mode. It was not for everyone, but during the 4.5 months, almost 5 months, we generated more than 2,000 MQLs, like actual leads that came from the cold emailing. Can you imagine those results? That was really, really great. That's why we kind of know outbound pretty well. But moreover, and the thing that is even more important is the fact that we are not only outbound guys who know how to run outbound, but we also implement AI on every single stage of the outbound and the delivery process. The main goal here is to not build a like purely service business where you have one person who will run campaigns for you, etc., etc. We build and implement AI on every single stage. So 85% of the job that we've done for our clients, like you saw those results, were done due to thankfully to this team of AI agents. And of course, it's way more comprehensive, and there are tons of different things here and there. But just like quickly, that's the team of AI agents that we are using that are doing 85% of the job when it comes to the full GTM engineering for our clients. Of course, there are some details here and there. There are some problems and bottlenecks here and there where we need people, but we almost everything we productized or almost everything we automated and used AI on every single stage. That's why the combination of two things, basically, we kind of know outbound, so a little bit at least, right? So we know a thing or two about outbound. And we also use AI a lot. As the combination, we can share with you our story about how do we use AI for our clients and for ourselves. So, and it took us kind of a lot of time and a lot of investments, not only from the money perspective, but also from the time perspective. We spent 6 months of pure testing, failing, and again testing, and again failing. The time that I spent talking to Claude was actually the same as all the Harry Potter books were written or George Martin books, the same amount of words. And we spent only purely for testing $18,000 purely only for testing on the LLMs and the tokens. I'm not calculating any other cost, only for the tokens itself. Can you imagine that? That's kind of a lot. That's why, yes, it didn't happen in one day, but we kind of know about this space, kind of something. And that's why I want to share it with you, our journey. So in 45 minutes right now, you will be packed with mainly three things. The first thing is that we'll share our methodology. How do we run outbound? The second one is our GitHub repo with the Claude Code skills that we are using for ourselves. You will get access to that, so you'll be able to actually replicate them or at least adapt to your specific case. And the third thing, we'll share with you the list of tools that we are personally using to run, I mean, like to help our clients and run ourselves and help our clients to send more than 1 million cold emails per month across all our clients, of course. So it was the highest possible deliverability, and also a list of all other tools for data research, for data enrichment, etc., etc. So no worries, you'll get everything. And that's basically the one more thing here is that we'll also share with you. There are going to be three main steps here. The first step is we'll dive deeper into the methodology because it's pretty important to align on the fundamental level altogether about how do we run outbound. Because only after that, I will share with you our layer of AI. How do we use Claude Code to run the campaigns according to this methodology? Because it's pretty important. And of course, we'll share with you the bonus that I was talking about. So if you think that working with AI is kind of simple, or you at least got this, probably this assumption that, yeah, we just open Claude Code, use Whisper Flow, use instantly MCP and print money. It doesn't work like that at all. And we thought, like, actually, I thought that AI is such a powerful thing. It should be working, but it's not. We need to do way bigger job. We need to dive deeper into every single micro process of the GTM engineering and of the outbound in order to level this up, in order to make this actually working. So what I mean here is that by the end of the day, the actual formula of success here is but the actual formula of success here is pretty simple. We cannot use just AI in vacuum. We need to, firstly, and that's the first priority, we need to identify the methodology, the framework that we're going to follow. Because if we are sending or we're using Claude Code or something or whatever codex for the templates that are for the most generic templates or for the approaches that do not work anymore in the outbound, it all makes no sense. AI is the only way. AI is here in this format is only to leverage your results, leverage your ability to get better results, leverage and optimize some of the processes and make it more scalable. But it's not the core part of the outbound strategy. The core part is the methodology, and we're going to talk about the methodology a bit more. And of course, that's methodology. And after that, we use AI to scale this, to be able to run this methodology, this framework. And only after that, we try and test with tons of different iterations to understand what's working, what's not. And as a result, we clearly have the formula and the system that is working for us. So let me just right now focus a little bit more on the methodology, on the framework that we are following. And only after that, I will share with you my screen and we'll go through the Claude Code, and I will actually share with you how do we create campaigns. So basically, I see that some people in the chat are sharing the links to their websites. Guys, right now, can I ask you just one thing? Please do not share the links to your websites. It's definitely fine to promote your LinkedIn profile. So please feel free to share your LinkedIn profile and let's connect all together. But let's not make or convert this chat that I'm using for getting the questions or getting the feedback from the audience into the advertising platforms. All right. So guys, right now, feel free to share your LinkedIn profile so we can all connect together. But do not share, do not try to sell anything within the chat because it's just gonna, ruin the whole atmosphere in the chat. So here's my LinkedIn profile. Feel free to share your LinkedIn profile and let's all connect to each other. But yeah, I see that. All right. Awesome. While we're connected with each other, guys, let me move on. So again, about the framework and the methodology that we are using. The main thing here is that the current outbound does not work. And there are tons of reasons for that, really. Your emails might go to spam, or you're writing really bad generic messages, or something else is going wrong. I mean, there are tons of reasons for that. And all of them might be valid. That's true, right? I don't want to lie. Yeah, of course, someone like if your emails are going to spam, of course, nothing will work. Or if something else, if your emails are generic, of course, it's not going to work. But the main problem is not with one of those aspects. It's about the whole playbook that you're currently using. And the playbook is pretty simple. We're going to go and find companies using Apollo or Sales Navigator that are matching with our ICP, meaning industry, the size of the company, and the location. That's basically it. After that, we're going to find the decision makers, try to find their emails, validate those emails, and send them the emails that are going to be pretty much generic. Like even if you try to make them personalized or relevant, it's not going to be relevant and it's not going to be personalized enough. So at the end of the day, we send campaigns, we try to scale cold emailing, and we get from 1 to 2% reply rate, and we're kind of not happy with that, right? So I know that there are tons of people who are not really happy with the results of the outbound. And guys, please feel free to share right now. Like, are you happy with the outbound results that you're currently having? Like, are you happy with that or not? Um, just yes, I see that. Okay, some are happy, but I know that 90% of people are not happy, and there is a clear reason behind that. The old playbook is just not performing. You need to build a new one. You need to reinvent outbound. So some things that worked like 3 years ago, they're not going to work today. But what's working? There are tons of different aspects. But if we talk about three main themes, three main aspects of the new playbook, it's going to be all about the relevancy first outreach and the relevancy first approach, where our main goal is to not send the generic messages, but more is to find the most relevant approach to the specific company and to the specific person within that company, and articulate this relevancy within our messaging, right? How do we get this relevancy? We usually leverage buyer signals. For example, whenever you're reaching out, imagine you are selling the social media SaaS tool in B2B, and you have and your target audience is like whatever, the CMOs are the decision makers. And of course, your articulation of the problem and the way you're going to talk will be extremely different to the CMO who has recently joined the team like 3 months ago and CMO who's been in the team for years. Because the new CMO wants to make changes, has the authority, and wants and has lots of doubts about the current vendors. So you can actually approach to them differently, right? And this is the only one example. There are tons of other examples. For example, whether they are currently hiring, and if they're currently hiring, how many people do they have already in-house the team, etc., etc. By knowing all of this information, you can actually adapt your messaging to every single person, to every single micro segment, right? I see that there are some people are asking questions here, such as like what is TAM? Like TAM, it's total addressable market, guys. So no worries. If you have some questions like this, please ask me, all right? No worries. The total addressable market, or the chat will help you over there. And it just sounds crazy, right? You are reaching out to people with the most relevant approach based on their buyer signals. Wow, it sounds really, really cool, right? But here's the problem. In theory, it works like a charm. Like you actually, like in your head, you're gonna get tons of results out of outbound just because you're gonna leverage the hiring signal or the fact that they have a new decision maker or something else. In reality, it's not working like that. 80 or 90% of the ideas that you have or buyer signals that you have in your mind are not actually performing way better. They're not like the best performers. No, they're just kind of normal results, sometimes low results, and sometimes medium results, but not top performance. So over here, even if something works really, really well in theory, we always need to test it in real life. That's why we have the second pillar here. It's the hypothesis-driven campaigns. In the outbound, we never believe that something is going to work or not just by word. And we put all the eggs in one basket. No. What we do is we actually split our campaigns by different hypotheses and we run them in parallel on scale. So our main goal here is not to identify is not to generate leads. It's to actually identify what's working and what's not working. And only for the best performing hypothesis, for the best performance strategies and tactics, then we leverage them with the multi-channel approach and with the better scale. That is, and of course, on top of that, you need to build a proper, reliable technical infrastructure, meaning domains, mailboxes, and warm-ups, inbox placement tests, etc., etc. That's all clear. I just don't want to touch that part right now because it's just too technical, and there are tons of details there. So, from the business perspective, there are three main things that we need to include into our strategy for the outbound lead generation. So, and just quickly, why it is the only way that you can rely on. And guys, and so no worries, in 10 minutes, I will start sharing my screen with the Claude Code. So no worries, guys. My main goal right now is to explain to you the reason why we are building the strategy like this in our in-house outbound. And after that, all the skills and everything in the Claude Code will be through this perspective. I want you to have my eyes of taking a look at this process. All right. So why the relevancy first approach is the only possible way to get results out of outbound? It's pretty simple. Everyone is sending tons of emails right now, and everyone is not happy with the receiving of those emails, right? All the emails are generic. The competition is super high. If your emails are generic, you probably at some point start going to spam, and people don't want to actually even if they reply to you, but they don't have the real intent, the real sales intent. It's still a huge waste of money. You get the reply, you spend tons of money on that, but people say to you, hey, it's not for us, it's not priority, yeah, etc., etc. Those things are irrelevant right now. So our main goal is not to send the campaign for hundreds, thousands of people and get a really small reply rate and then start getting some results. Our main goal is to find what is the right formula of your ICP, buyer persona, buyer signals, angle, and the copywriting to understand, even on a small scale, like a small campaign like this that you see on the screenshot, to get the results and do not burn the market that we have. All right. So how the way we think about the outbound. We always start with the deep understanding of our ICP. It's really important, but I want to stop here. I don't want to actually dive deeper into this part a lot because there are tons of details in the ICP understanding and building the strategy. Let's just say that it's extremely important, and you cannot build outbound without knowing the foundation and having the foundation, right? After that, once we know the ICP and the buyer persona that we want to reach out to, we actually translate it into the map of signals and the data points that we need to identify to actually find out who is the most relevant for us and who is not. That means we need to check who is hiring, who is not hiring, do they have new decision makers, who do they sell to, etc., etc. We need to know more information about them, not just the industry, in order to identify how we're going to approach them. And whenever it comes to buyer signals, we usually have from 10 to 15 buyer signals that we are usually following for ourselves and for our clients. Of course, that's 80% of the buyer signals that we're using there. It's them. It's that list of the buyer signals. And I will share with you those buyer signals if you need, and with a clear understanding about how to use them and what is the tool set to use. But the main goal here is, okay, we have the buyer signals, we have the data points, we need to actually translate that into a proper copyright. So now once we have the list of companies with the list of data points and the buyer signals, we need to prepare a hypothesis and test those ideas in real life. That's why we have the hypothesis, and usually it's one segment with a few buyer decision makers, with a few combinations of the buyer signals. We have 20 or 30 or 40 different campaigns that we want to test. And of course, we adapt our messaging to every single hypothesis that we are running, right? So over here, you can take a look at the framework that we have as the example here, but the main logic here is that we usually have one vertical. Imagine we are reaching out to B2B SaaS businesses, and we have four personas: CRO, CMO, head of sales, and the founder, right? And we have a few signals, such as whether they're currently hiring for SDRs, whether they're currently hiring for account executives, and do they have a new decision maker join the team, right? We have a few data points about the amount of the in-house SDRs and in-house account executives, and we have a few angles, how we would like to approach them. And in the combination, even though it does not look crazy, but in the combination of all of those things, we're going to have around 50 different campaigns that we're going to test. So Over here, how it looks, you see one vertical, several decision makers, several buyer signals, several data points, several angles, like time-based or problem-based. As a result, we have tons of different hypotheses that we need to run and test to understand what's working, what's not working. And the thing here is that, of course, we are adapting our messaging to every single hypothesis. And here is the thing. Of course, this, like from the format perspective, from the structural perspective, it's going to look the same, right? So we have the first name, hello. We have the here and here and here, the structure, the call to action, the end, PS line, etc. It's all clear, right? But the context of the email will be different. So for every single micro segment, we have the relevant the message with the highest relevancy. That's the main goal. And it sounds crazy, right? That, wow, guys, you're running so many campaigns, you're probably getting a lot of results, a lot of great results. But the thing here is that how do we, okay, we run the hypothesis. What are the results that we're getting? How do we actually work with those results? Um, uh, so if the hypotheses are getting less than 1% reply rate or less than 17% interested rate, we kill those hypotheses. They usually do not perform well. It's just the worst performers. We do not scale those. We do not work with those hypotheses anymore. We optimize the hypotheses that are actually getting and showing and bringing us from 17 to 30% interested rate. So from 17 to 30% of people who replied to us, they were interested in talking more. And the scale, we scale the hypotheses that are actually showing the best performance. And that's around a little bit more than 30% in the interested rate. And of course, after that, we tier hypotheses and tier those ideas. And as a result, guys, imagine we got 50 different campaigns for only one segment, for only one industry, for only one vertical. And only 15% of those campaigns, like really small amount of those campaigns, around from 5 to 7 campaigns, actually bringing us the most results. They're the best performers. The rest are actually not working well. And we would not know about those things unless we test those things. So how do we actually work with those things? We actually do not work with, like, we kill the hypothesis that do not work. We scale the hypothesis that are actually working by adding the LinkedIn as a channel and of course scaling the volume. And for tier 2, we optimize it by changing and tweaking the copywriting, by adding a little bit more of the LinkedIn steps, by working on the copywriting side of things, trying to find more personalized way for some segments, etc., etc. We try to do a lot of job there to get to go from this tier 2 to tier 1 type of the hypothesis and the campaigns. So let me just sum it up, how, like, the playbook that we are actually following. The A is that we need to always have the reliable infrastructure, right? B is that we need to follow the relevancy first approach. And no matter how big your total addressable market is, even if you have 5,000 companies on this planet who might be your clients, and that's a really limited total addressable market, right? 5,000 companies. And usually you have from 2 to 5 decision makers who you can reach out to. So it's going to be from 10,000 to 25,000 company or people who you can reach out to. And of course, you still need to find the most relevant approach to them, right? So relevancy first is the number one thing. After that, we go with the hypothesis testing because we never know what's working, what's going to work and what's not. And we need to focus on those things a lot. After that, the things that are actually working, we move them to the multi-channel approach. And the last thing, the craziest one, is that we need to leverage AI for doing those things. And we're all here today to see how to do those things, right? How to actually leverage AI. And so now let's talk about this thing. Yes, I see. Yeah, I see some great questions from the chat, like the question from Marco. Let me just address that really quickly. First things first is that you always have bigger total addressable market that you think. So you, even if you have 5,000 companies, you usually have from 2 to 5 decision makers. So it's going to be around 20 to 25,000 contacts you can reach out to. It's A. B, if you reach out to companies or to people every 3 months, they will never remember who you are, because how many times you had the feeling that you got the email from this specific person, the cold email from this specific person, 3 or 4 months ago. It's never happening like that. That's why you can always iterate again and again and again every single quarter, even if you have a really limited total addressable market. But when I say really limited, I mean like 1,000 people, whatever. So I will address some of the questions that you have a little bit later. So let's talk about AI. All right. How do we build the AI system around that? The number one and the main thing here is that, of course, it should be around Claude Code. And we have Claude Code as the main part, as the main environment that where we're working in. We never, right now, we don't set up campaigns in the instantly or smartly or whatever. We do these things through Claude Code. And of course, all the things that we need to connect to Claude Code. That means we need to connect our MCPs. We need to connect our trigger.dev automations. We need to connect our Clay. We need to connect our skills library. We need to connect other MCPs and CLIs, such as Atio or HubSpot or whatever, our CRM system. We need to connect all of the dots to our Claude Code so we can start working and start performing well from one environment, only from Claude Code. All right? And let me just go quickly about the overall high-level logic. How do we build these flows within Claude Code? And after that, I will show you how it's done. So we always start with the strategy, right? And there are tons of little details here and there, but the overall, there are a few main things that you need to know. We always start with our ICP and buyer persona, with all the documents, with all the PDFs that you have about your target audience and about your market, people who you want to sell to, right? After that, we enrich this data with all the call recordings that you have. So with your leads, whenever you have a call, you usually record it and you enhance this data, and you take this data and enhance your understanding of the ICP and buyer persona. After that, you go through the tools like Octave HQ or tons of other alternatives to get the list of hypotheses that you want to actually run, right? So here at this point, on this left side, you already have the strategy. And then with this strategy, you're coming, or like at least the drafts of the strategy. You actually go into Claude. And within the Claude environment, you start working with this strategy, all right? After that, in parallel, we build the second brain. I guess that everyone knows about the second brain here. It's like people build this through Obsidian. Like a lot of information about your company and what you're doing in the indexable way, not through the so it's in the indexable way, so you can actually always get a lot of information about your company easily and feed it to AI really fastly. Okay. So it's second brain part, to let AI go through the MD files with links like a graph. Yeah, you're right. And we use this and we set it up for every single client, to get better results on every single stage. Okay. After that, we enhance that with the skills. It's the list of instructions that we need for Claude Code to know what to do on every single stage. Okay. Once we have this, imagine like we've done a lot of preparation right now, and we still do not have the copywriting even right now. After that, once we have the strategic part with the skills, the second brain, everything set up, after that is going to be way easier for us because after that we go and set up the hypothesis, the list of ideas that we want to run and test. After that, based on those two things, we do have the copywriting and the data research. With the copywriting, I will share with you, we have a really pretty simple framework about how do we write campaigns, but I will show it to you. And the data research is way more comprehensive, way more harder thing, right? I see that some people are asking about the second brain. Is it a platform? No, it's not a platform. You can use, Carpathy. Yeah, you see the link in the chat. The second brain thing. But people are using it through Obsidian. We don't. We built our own thing for that. And we have the data research tasks and the copywriting tasks. Once it's done, after that, we start setting up the campaigns through the MCPs and CLIs and start running all of those 50 or like a few dozens of campaigns in parallel quickly. And the main thing here is that we also, on top of that, analyze the results and the metrics using the Carpathy method in order to the auto research, in order to actually improve the results quickly and make AI improve those results on their own. if someone does not know what's that, I mean, like I will share with you the list of skills that we are using and the list of things that are working there. So that's the main logic here. If you have some questions, just feel free to reach out to me after the webinar. But let's just move on. With the data research process, let me also share with you the high level of the process of this data research. We usually have two approaches. The first one is the signal-based approach. If you for example, whenever we take and scrape all the people who engaged with some specific post on LinkedIn. So the first touch, the first data point that we get is the engagement or this dynamic thing, right? So for example, we need to have all the companies who are using a specific technology, right? Et cetera, right? So that's the first approach, and I don't want to touch that right now. There is a second approach where we have the list of the companies who match with our ICP. So how do we approach with that? So we actually go and find the list of companies using all the different sources. Apollo, Sales Navigator, Clay, Blitz API, like tons of different sources. And we get the list of all companies who match with our ICP. After that, we of course remove the duplicates because of course there might be tons of different duplicates from different sources, right? After that, we have a huge, almost 100% of the total addressable market that we have for a specific industry, for a specific vertical that we want to reach out to. After that, we go through the ICP validation stage where we go and check every single website using the LLM system to identify whether the company is doing that thing that they mentioned or not. For example, if we are looking only for B2B SaaS businesses, we will go and ask LLM, like in ChatGPT or like whatever, like OpenAI or Claude or Anthropic API or whatever, or Gemini. Usually we use that for that. Go and check the website and check whether this website is B2B SaaS or not. After that, once we have the list of companies who only fit our ICP, we go and we use the buyer signals and the data enrichment to identify some extra data points that we need to know, whether they are currently raised money, whether they are currently hiring, who they're hiring for, etc., according to our strategy for this specific audience, right? And right now, only after this, we go and find the decision makers, right? And only after that, there is a simple thing about the finding emails using the waterfall system and the verification. So at the end of the day, we have a clean list of contacts who match with our ICP on 100%, only like almost 100% of people like from our total addressable market with all the details that we need, such as buyer signals and some extra data points. And we can start working with that. And of course, we use AI for doing almost every single part here. There are some people still included in this process, but from 90 to 95% of this specific process is made by AI. So the copywriting process is also pretty simple. So it's pretty simple right now. We have the hypothesis. We start running campaigns. Not running campaigns, we start preparing the campaigns, and we have the stress test, the quality assurance process, where we score every single email from 0 to 10 by the list of our criteria that we have. And after that, we actually stress test it again and again, iteratively, until we have at least 8.1 out of 10 in our scoring. So if we have 8.1, we can start running the campaigns. If it doesn't have 8.1, we do not run those campaigns. So with the copywriting, it's pretty simple. And of course, today I will share with you the list of all our skills. That's going to be in the additional materials that we're going to send after the webinar. So please check your email inbox for those skills. We'll share with you all of them, with also all the list of tools that we're using, and of course with the recording of this webinar. So right now, just a quick question, guys. How do you enjoy this webinar so far from 0 to 10? Just tell me from 0 to 10, like 0, you don't like it, you hate it, 10, you like it. I see that people saying 10, 10, 10. Wow, thanks a lot, actually. 9, 8, all right, 10, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10. All right, guys, 6, 7, all right. That's funny, actually. 10, 10, 10, 10. Awesome, guys. So now the question to you, it's just crazy. Like, guys, I want to run a quick poll for you. Would you like, for example, it's crazy. We would not do those things, but like, would you like us, for example, as Growth Band team, to run the strategy for your outbound lead generation? So just let us know yes or no. And that's going to be really, really quick poll. Um, if yes, yes. If no, no. That's just out of curiosity. No, it's just out of curiosity. I'm just curious. Would you like us to run the strategy for you? So, all right. Um, yes, I see. All right, all right, all right. I see that. Yeah, okay. A lot of people answered already. All right. I see that the majority of people want it. Okay. This. Then I have another question, guys, for you. Would you like us to run the outbound for you? Just say yes or no. Imagine that we are not just only creating the strategy for you, but we are actually running the outbound for you and for your team. And of course, if you're as the SDR or the head of lead generation team or lead generation lead, of course, it's yeah, you would not like us run outbound for you. But I'm just curious. If you would like, just say yes. If you don't, just say no. All right. Um, Yes, of course, I'm not gonna reach out to people. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, I see, I see, I see. All right, awesome. I see still that a lot of people actually want us to do those things. All right, so thanks a lot. In 3 minutes, I'm gonna just share my screen right now. Yes, and yeah, no, no, it was not just for curiosity. That was the hook. So now I'll share you what I was asking for you about. So in 3 minutes, I will share with you my cursor and Claude Code. But before that, there is an announcement, guys. The announcement is that remember when I told you that during the last 6 months in the stealth mode, we were doing and running outbound for our clients. Guys, we are going public with this service. Now we are not only just the deliverability guys, we are currently running from A to Z the outbound lead generation for you. And we are using the full methodology, the full framework that I'm just sharing with you right now. And of course, way deeper and way more details there, here and there. That was just to show you the glance of what we're doing. And I'm just sharing with you the link. And guys, when I say from A to Z, I mean like literally. Remember, right now you need to do the strategy, the ICP, the data enrichment, personalization, the deliverability, the warm up, literally everything. No, we take the full ownership of that. And how does that work? It works pretty simple. We actually interview you a lot, dive deeper into your specific case a lot. And after that, we prepare the strategy, we align with the strategy with you, and after that, we move on with the actual execution of everything. Every single part of your outbound will be executed. Of course, not everything will be automated, just because we do have the engine, but we need to adapt the engine for every single client, and of course, we need to do a lot of job there. I'm just sharing with you the link to the chat. If you're interested, please submit the form and we will talk. We'll talk. So just quickly, the minimum commitment is 4 months because during the first months we build the foundation, we build the strategy, we dive deeper, we talk to you a lot, we interview you a lot, we take a look at your ICP a lot, ICP, buyer persona, etc., etc., about all of the details a lot. And in parallel, we are preparing the technical infrastructure. That means LinkedIn and cold email infrastructure, mailboxes, domains, warm up, etc., etc. So once we align with the strategy, we can start writing campaigns. After that, during the first months of active sending, that's technically the second months, we actually run tons of different hypotheses, tons of different tests and ideas. And at the end of the day, we see our main goal here is not to generate leads, but actually get a clear clarity about what's working and what's not. And after that, that's the acceleration. We start scaling this hypothesis that are actually working, and we kill the hypothesis that do not work. So at the end of the day, if you compare us to some like other tools or agencies, etc., guys, there are a few things. A, we're not just the generic or usual lead generation agency. We are the guys who are providing you with the premium level of the service, who are implementing tons of different, who have, like we have our own methodology that we're following. So you are fully clear about, you have a full clarity about what is the strategy that is behind this engine. And we are running every single part from A to Z to you. So that's just to tell you again. That's here's the link to this service. Please read it out. Read it. Please take a look at that. Yeah, just to remind you guys, in a stealth mode, we generated more than 2,000 leads for our clients. Not for everyone. Like that was like a set of 13 clients. We generated more than 2,000 leads in just a matter of 4.5 months, right? We've tested a lot, we failed a lot, but during the test mode, we actually get amazing results. And now we're going public. And here's one more thing, like guys, since we spent too much time to onboard every single client because we need to build the second brain, we need to actually build the different architecture of the skills with different, like lots of logic that we need to build for the system that we are having. We actually yes, I see the question. So we are limited only to 7 clients per month. Of course, we're going to have way more leads, but for some leads, we'll say no, just because we want to have a really careful approach to every single person, to every single client that we have during the onboarding phase, because it's the most critical phase. It's the onboarding phase, because we need to know about you a lot. We're gonna do a lot of integration. We will need interview you a lot to identify the strategy for you. So seats that are remaining for May, it's only 5. We already have 2 contracts signed. So again, it was in stealth mode. Imagine how crazy that is, right? So, and right now, the bonus is, right now, guys, is that it's gonna be minus 20% only for the first client. The first client who sent to us, hey, I came from webinar and I want to buy a service, and then we discuss the details, it's going to be 20% off lifetime, right? It's only going to be for the first person, not for everyone. And we still have the limited amount of seats. That's why, guys, what you need to say to us is just say, hey, please give us the discount. And if you're the first one, you will get this discount. It's going to be minus 20% lifetime. All right. That's enough with selling. Let's get back to the content itself, right? So right now, let me share my screen, another screen right now. So now I am going to share my Claude Code. Yes, guys, can you see my screen right now? Please let me know. I don't see the chat. Give me just a second. Whether you can see the chat, right? So, awesome. Guys, we still have 10 minutes, so I'll go live and we'll share with you a few things right now. Yes, I see the questions about what are the most successful clients that we have. That is either SaaS businesses, like B2B SaaS businesses. That's the number one clients with the best performers. The second type, that are also great performers, is the B2B service businesses with a really clear and strong offer. If we are talking about really competitive markets with generic offer, it's not going to work. We are not going to take this client. Technically we can, or we could, but we will not spend time on that. So again, guys, 2 things here. A is that here's my LinkedIn profile. So just a few links to share again. So here's my LinkedIn profile. Please feel free to connect with me. I forgot to share that. And one more time, the link to our Done For You system, the Outbound Reinvented system. Please go and check out this link, because I saw that lots of people asked the questions in the chat. So please use those links. All right. And guys, one more thing I forgot to tell you. If you have any questions, please ask them in the Q&A section, so I can actually answer your questions, and I'm not gonna miss those things. All right. Please use the Q&A section. All right. So let's move on. When it comes to the outbound lead generation, again, we already have. If you take a look at it, do you see my screen right now? Please tell me yes or no. Sorry. Yes, and it's a cursor, right? With Claude Code, right? All right, awesome. So here's the thing. On the left side, you can see that here we have tons of like the list of tons of different skills here and there about how to write messages. What is our methodology? What is our manifesto? What literally every single part is here, right? So you can take a look at all the skills that we are using. They're all here. It's not full list of skills, because it's the list of skills that we are using only for the cold emailing. And for the LinkedIn, we have another repo, and for the other types of the GTM, we have other also. It's only right now, this part, it's only for the cold emailing. All right. And when it comes to the cold emailing, we always start with what? With the strategy, with the idea, who we want to reach out to, right? I can share with you what I was writing, and that's the whole idea. That's the idea of the people who I wanted to reach out to. I can share and start a new session, and I will just say here, um, hello. I would like to reach out to HubSpot agencies who are working with the HubSpot integration. And the thing here is that some of them are like they don't have problems with the inbound leads because they already got through the partnership page. But the problem here is that they do not have control of their pipeline. That's why I want to reach out to them with the different approach based on whether they have the SDRs or they don't, whether they have account executives and how many within the team, etc., etc. Please take a look at this audience through our perspective, and let's prepare some different hypotheses about how we're going to run campaigns for them, right? So I just recorded this over here. You see, I didn't write anything. I didn't type anything. I was just recording that. And this was and you see the Claude Code starts asking different skills, start diving deeper into different, is taking different skills that we already have and start actually going and asking me extra questions. Yes, okay. Because I'm not going to share with you the whole process there. I will actually go through this. You see, it was already a little bit bigger, a little bit more explanation about the audience that I wanted to reach out to. And that was pretty simple. I was using the Whisper Flow. Again, just one click, and here Claude is getting everything that I'm talking about. So, boom, you see, the most accurate voice recognition for the AI. All right. After that, and that was the goal is to create the campaign for the HubSpot agencies. After that, like Claude, using our skills, has prepared the list of the hypotheses that we want to run. After that, I said, all right, those hypotheses are good. Example of those hypotheses. We want to run to founders of HubSpot agencies who do not have SDRs. That means that the main problem, the main core part is that pipeline control, framing sharpened, not a system we figure out, a motion we build and run together. Then we have the VP of sales, not a vendor who sets out and leaves. That's the number one. And here we do have different core approaches that we're going to use to every single audience with a different combination. You see, the combination is whether they're just HubSpot agency or they're full cycle agency, whether they have SDRs in-house the team or they don't, and based on their titles. You see, it's only one industry, one vertical, and we have different hypotheses. After that, I asked the Claude to start preparing the messages until we get at least 8.1 out of 10. So here are the list of messages. Just give me a second. I will. Yeah, I guess that's the list of messages. You see, so it has the list of the main changes, the main core principles, and here's the list of messages that we create. Right? You see, the Claude has prepared for me those messages for every single campaign. See, this is the list of messages. I will probably use the preview section. It's going to be easier for you to take a look at that. So Claude has started preparing for me the messages based on the strategy and the framework that we have. You see the list of all messages here and there. We can take a look at one of those messages and say, hello, hi, first name, with the number of SDRs at company name about is running. The usual challenge, knowing exactly when the company is ready for a HubSpot partner means target ends up broad. The signal that sharpens it, and you see CMO, CRO, or COO joining the target group, target account. They need wins in 90 days and evaluate every vendor they inherited. We rebuild the targeting infrastructure around those moments, end-to-end for your specific ICP, sharper leads, shorter cycles, better pipeline. Is targeting the main constraints on Outbound right now. You see, that's a really good email. And that was the email because we have the list of skills that Claude is actually following. All right, but the main part here is that not only Claude is preparing those messages, but also Claude is using another skill, it's a stress test skill, in order to evaluate how great the email is based on the catchy, engaging, logical, easy to read, points to problem, demo of research, average. So based on the overall score of our stress testing. It's also a part of the methodology that we need to actually try to get the perfect output as perfect as it's possible before we start writing campaigns, but not spend too much time. We don't need to spend 1 month to write messages. We need to spend just 20 minutes, unless until we get the highest possible quality messages without spending even more time. So you see, once we are ready with those messages, boom, 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 you see, we've scaled, evaluated every single message. Claude has done those things. After that, we go and ask, okay, it's done. And after that, I ask Claude to prepare and set up the campaigns in our PlusVibe tool. The PlusVibe tool is the tool that we are using for sending cold emails. You see, after that, using the MCP, so here, using the MCP, Claude has prepared those things. And I will share it to you right now. So let me share my screen here. Can you see my screen right now? Yes, I hope yes. So it's right now the demo account, and I ask Claude to actually, because Claude has prepared those messages, and all of them are already stress tested and got the highest possible score in the copywriting perspective, from the copywriting perspective, so we can run and set up those campaigns. And we don't do this manually. I never log into this interface actually. So I asked Claude to go and set up those campaigns. So Claude is going and setting up all those campaigns here. So you see, I clicked here and the list of sequences, boom, it's all the sequences that are done here. The first step, the second step, the third step is done. Can you see one interesting thing here is that those messages, those campaigns are also spin text randomized. Do you know what spin text randomization is? Please let me know in the chat, yes or no. Just quickly, just a quick shoot. Yes, 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 no, no, yes, 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 yes. Okay, guys, spin text randomization is the formula or the mechanism to randomize different parts of your email in order to make it more unique. For example, instead of just hello first name, you can say hello for some people, but to some people it will be sent hi first name, and to some people it will send good day first name. And the same happens to best regards, thanks a lot, have a good day, etc., etc. You see what I mean? Whenever you randomize some different parts of your email, that is done to make all of your emails look unique, and that improves your deliverability overall. So you see that Claude has even set up those campaigns quickly here, right? So now the question is, all right, the copywriting, the campaigns are actually ready. Now we need to get the list of contacts, right? So let me share my screen one more time here. And yes. Boom. Yes. So now let me share with you my screen here. So again, that's already another chat. And here's the thing, is that I asked, you see here at the very top, I asked using the methodology, and I just shared the list of skills, the MD files that Claude needs to follow in order to find the list of companies that we need to use. Again, remember this approach where we use different sources like Blitz API, the Clay, the Hub, the Apollo, Sales Navigator, literally every single part there, in order to actually get the list of all the companies who match with our ICP, right? So over here, I asked to do those things using right now specifically using Clay. So what Claude did? Claude went to clay.com. Sorry. Claude went to clay.com. You all know clay.com, right? Start performing the search there. So you can see all the lots of searches, boom, 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 lots of actions here. And prepared for me the list right now. It's only 10 companies, just because I wanted to make it quicker before the webinar itself. Only 10 HubSpot agencies with the founders and the decision makers. And if you can see, it prepared 2 tables for me, right? So right now I'll share with you those 2 tables. So Clay has done that. Oh, sorry, Clay. You see not Clay. Claude has done that for me. Has already prepared 2 tables for me: the list of companies, the list of contacts. And now I can do and run my usual data research process here using the waterfall system. Like firstly, we always do check whether these companies are actually part of our CRM system. After that, we do have the agent that is actually checking their website, whether they are actually matched with our ICP or not. And okay, that's one of the agents that we are using. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not going to run it right now, but yes. So after that, you see, we can actually do a lot of things here in order to get. Now, do we need Clay Enterprise for API access? No, you don't. So that's the question that I see in the chat. But right now, you see Claude has performed that for us. But in reality, I will tell you, like frankly, between us, is that Clay is doing the full Claude Code is doing the full data research for us for this part. Now I'm just sharing with you how powerful is that to connect it to your Clay, so you can actually perform the data research and connect it to your Clay and start working within the Clay already. But in reality, Claude Code is fully running the data research for us. It's just taking too much time actually to perform that and show it to you in live. But the main part here is that once it's done, once it's ready, okay, the list of companies and the list of people we already have, we can already download them. So I can ask Clay, please download this list of companies and add it to our PlusVibe MCP to the campaigns that we already have and prepared. Please segment them based on the criteria that we already have. So if I ask those things, I will actually ask that, and Clay and Claude Code will do those things. Right now, it's not gonna do those things just because we need to do like a little bit better job with the preparation of this list. But you understand this logic. All right, guys. I guess I spent too much time already, and I guess we will need to. Sorry for taking too much time, but please let me know if you have any questions. I see that, like, let's move on to the Q&A section.